The fall is often told as a story of punishment, but it is really a story of awareness, of seeing yourself differently for the first time, of the quiet moment when innocence shifts into understanding. It is not just about disobedience, it is about becoming aware of who you are and who you're becoming. Before anything went wrong, the garden was still peaceful. Adam and Eve walked freely, unafraid, unself-conscious, held by a sense of belonging. This is the part of life we don't appreciate until something changes. The serpent didn't roar. It didn't force. It simply asked questions. Questions wrapped in curiosity. Questions that sounded reasonable. Questions that slipped under the guard because they felt familiar. Temptation rarely feels like danger. It feels like an opportunity. And so the moment came, slow, subtle, almost quiet. A hand reaching, a boundary crossed, a choice made not out of rebellion, but out of longing to know more. Many of our biggest life changes begin with one small reach. The fruit didn't strike them, lightning didn't fall, the world didn't shake. They simply became aware of themselves, of each other, of the weight of choosing differently. Awareness can feel like a gift and a burden at the same time. Their first instinct was not to hide from God, but to cover themselves from each other. Shame always begins internally before it becomes relational. It says, something is wrong with me, even when nothing explosive has happened. God walked through the garden the same way he always had. But Adam and Eve didn't feel the same. Hiding is the first sign that we have wandered from ourselves, and God asked, "Where are you?" Not to accuse, but to invite them back to themselves. When confronted, they pointed outward. Adam toward Eve, Eve toward the serpent. Awareness without accountability turns into blame. Blame builds distance. Distance breeds confusion. This is how relationships fracture quietly. What followed was not a thunderous curse. It was a description, a revealing of what life now looks like when innocence meets experience. Work becomes harder. Relationships become complex. Life becomes heavier. Not because God abandoned them, but because they stepped into a world that required effort and growth. Before they left the garden, God did something crucial. He made garments for them. He covered them. Not out of shame, but out of care. A soft gesture in a difficult moment. Even in consequence, there was compassion. This is the quiet truth of the fall. It is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a different kind of journey. Thanks for sitting with me. See you next time for another quiet story.